Hey everyone, I just want to take a moment to welcome you to the Good Hack Labs 3D Printing Club. Today I just want to give you a rough overview of the 3D printers we'll be using in the lab. My name is Mr. Crumtier. I'm one of the club sponsors along with Mr. Manor and Mr. Pintor. So with that said, let's dive in and hopefully give you guys a rough intro to 3D printing and get you started. What is 3D printing? 3D printing allows us to physically construct 3D objects designed in computer-aided design programs such as Tinkercad, Fusion 360, Blender, or Meshmixer. These programs are just a short list of the many out there. How does 3D printing work? In short, 3D printers work much like a hot glue gun. If you've ever pulled the trigger on a hot glue gun and watched a large glue stick get heated up and forced out the other end, then you're probably familiar with 3D printing. The 3D printer works much in the same way to build up models one thin layer at a time. In 3D printing, this is referred to as Fusion Deposition Modeling, or FDM for short. You can see in the drawing here how a model progresses as the layers are stacked. Printer filaments. The material used to build our models is referred to as filament. Filaments come in a variety of colors and materials with all kinds of different properties and finishes. For this club, we'll be sticking with the plastic known as PLA, or polylactic acid. But just keep in mind there are a wide variety of filaments that you can check out below. If you want, you can pause the video and read through some of them. Now we understand about the materials we'll be using, let's talk about the parts of the 3D printer. In the Hack Lab, we are running a couple of Creality Ender 3s. These are great machines to learn on, as most of their design is shared with other FDM printers. Much of the mechanical workings of the printers are out in the open, so it's a great way to get an understanding of what is going on through the whole process. Let's take a look at some of the different components of the printer. The filament holder. So when loading our printers with filament, we mount the spool along the top rail. This gives us a straight path to be fed into our machine. There are a number of other ways to mount it, but out of the box, the Ender 3 is set up this way. Let's go on to the drive gear. The filament drive gear is driven by a stepper motor and is tasked with controlling the feed rate, or speed, that the filament will enter the machine at. You can observe from the top-down view how the filament makes its way through the two gears and into the white tube. This white tube we mentioned is often referred to as the Bowden tube. The Bowden tube guides our filament from the drive gear down to the hot end, as can be seen in the second diagram. The extruder head is where we take our raw PLA material and turn it into a fine line of melted plastic. The extruder end is made up of a heating element along with a nozzle that is just a fraction of the width of the PLA. This allows us to take our larger diameter PLA and extrude it as a fine strand of plastic onto our print bed. After extruding our material, we need somewhere to place it. This is where the print bed comes in. To successfully print our models, we need to have a proper surface for them to adhere to. The print bed needs to be clean and level. Along with this, the print bed is heated to prevent warping as our models cool off during the print process. Prints on the Ender 3 are loaded through a microSD card onto the machine. The controller hosts an interface that allows us to monitor print status and temperatures along with modifying some settings on the fly. So to sum it up, although this is not an end-all be-all guide to 3D printers, I hope this gives you a quick, rough understanding of how FDM printers work. In future meets, we'll start on 3D modeling and preparing your designs for printing. Thanks for joining us, everyone.